Well, well, well. You ever feel like you forgot something? You have to click the go live button? Ain't that just the way? Um, so yeah, we are starting day one, chapter one, verse one. Are we here? The audio stream's current bitrate. What are we doing here? Yo. Well, well, well. All right. I think we actually. Okay. We unfucked this up. Maybe hit go live like 20 minutes ago. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? Fucking late. Anyway, today we're starting day one, chapter one, verse one of researching and learning science stuff and figuring out how to tell when something is true or not. So to do that, we're gonna watch someone who's really bad at it and go through their claims, find the data for what they're talking about, and evaluate whether or not it's true. This guy is very Irish. I apologize for that in advance. It's also not great with science, and is arguing for the carnivore diet, which is whatever. It's fine. Anyway, without further ado,
the first thing, like, basically, that we have here is that, like, hear about these seed oils, and what we mean by seed oil is like veg.
I hate seed oils. Seed oils are terrible because they're new. Nobody likes new things. Why'd you do that? All right. Seed oils.
Vegetable oils, I think like rapeseed oil or peanut oil is another one. Like any of these kind of like oils that you find, they're typically polyunsaturated fats. What they'll preach is that like the unsaturated fats, they're the healthy fats. The saturated fats, which is like animal fats.
Okay. Polyunsaturated fatty acids. All right, fine. Listen, we're gonna type that out. Just so. Polyunsaturated fatty acids are fatty acids that sleep around. Obviously.
Coconut oil is a saturated fat as well. Those are quote unquote unhealthy. But when you break it down in the body, because these fats are saturated, they protein doesn't bind to them, sugar doesn't bind to them, so they're not cancerous in terms of that. Whereas,
okay, saturated fats aren't cancerous because they don't bind to sugar and protein. I think that's a nonsense statement, but let's proteins and sugars don't bind to fat or to saturated fats. Therefore, no cancer. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't even know if we can look that up. PUFA bind sugar. population, high fat, high sucrose diet. You know what? We're gonna come back to that maybe. This also too. Okay, no, we want 3 hashtags there. I don't know if that's true. That would be weird if it did. I don't think fatty acids bind to proteins in your gut, but I don't know, maybe.
The unsaturated fats, because they're unsaturated, there's more chemicals that can actually bind to them, like the proteins and stuff like that, which is what causes the cancer essentially.
Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, I guess technically, if you have a double bond, you're more reactive than something without double bonds. Because whatever. If you have more electrons piled into one area, that means they have a greater chance of fucking with other stuff. Very scientific.
So, like, just to kind of run through the seed oils itself, they're typically high in omega-6 to omega-3 ratios, which means the more and more you consume, the more and more omega-6 you're getting, and the
Okay, omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is high. Omega-6 omega-3 ratio is too high in seed oils. Sure. Look it up. Omega-3, omega-6 ratio. Realmofcaring.com. That seems legit. Importance of the ratio. You know what? We'll go for the general. Several sources of information suggest that human beings evolved on a diet with a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 essential fatty acids of about 1, whereas in Western diets the ratio is 15 to 1 to 16.7 to 1. Okay. Well, that is true. Let's historically humans have had an omega 6. Yes, 6. Too many spaces. I don't know where to put it. Fuck. Whatever. I've had an omega 6 to omega 3 ratio of 1. Western diets. Western. Okay. Diets contain about 15 to 16.7 to 1. To 1. That's outrageous. I mean, whatever. I don't know. It's not that outrageous, I guess. Okay. First sentence. We don't even need to read the rest of the abstract. Fuck it. How you do science. You just cherry pick whatever data you want that fits your narrative and then move the fuck on.
less omega-3 you're getting. Basically, the reason why this is bad is because it causes heart disease, cancer, and inflammatory conditions.
Okay. So that's a bigger one. So, okay. So he misspoke there. Or well, not there, but the previous sentence said the more seed oil you eat, the more omega-6 you get and the less omega-3 you get. Which doesn't really make any sense. If you eat more seed oils, then you're going to get more of both. Like, full stop. You're just going to get more of one over the other. But we're not bad faith hacks here, so we're not going to lean into that one. So let's see. Basically, omega-6 causes cardiovascular disease. All right, we'll type it out for normies. Cardiovascular disease, cancer, and inflammatory conditions. All right, that is 3. So let's start with CBD. Omega 6 CBD meta-analysis. So when you're looking, especially with diet or treatments or any sort of medical stuff, generally, you don't want to just get like one study. You want something that pools a lot of studies together. Something that takes several other trials and combines them together to see what the impact is. To just you want as much data included as possible, basically. You also want to so the type of study that is, it's called a meta-analysis, where they look at a bunch of different studies, they see the effects, they weight each study by by its quality, and then average them all out basically to get an overall effect. What a lot of people will do instead of pulling out a meta-analysis is they'll do just like one very specific study that's like an outlier or that wasn't controlled very well, and they'll use that as a basis. Further, they won't even use human outcome trials, which when you do human outcome trials, that further breaks down into prospective cohort studies or retrospective studies. So the retrospective studies basically is a lot of self-reported data that you're drawing conclusions from after the fact. It's not always generally self-reported, but you're looking backwards in time rather than doing an actual experiment is when you do a retrospective analysis. A prospective study is the opposite. You're setting up a clinical trial and having two groups, and you're following them for a period of time under experimental conditions. So yeah, be careful for when you go type in does omega-6 cause cancer, you might find some weird studies where it's in rabbits, we purified their intestinal cells and saturated it with this thing, and then cancer grew. And it's okay, yeah, that's not great. I probably would ask some more questions before I put that in my body. But also, you are not a petri dish full of rabbit intestine cells, so that's not the greatest basis with which you want to make decisions off of. But anyway, you see right here at the top, got a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials, which is great. Insights, review. Want to read all this shit? No. We're just gonna skip to the end, look at the conclusions, because we're cherry picking data, and this video is 20 minutes long, and we've made it through a minute, and I want to finish this eventually. So, omega-6 PUFA supplementation did not affect the risk for CVD morbidity and mortality. Additionally, based on meta-regressional analysis, we found that higher AA levels might even significantly increase the risk of coronary heart disease, myocardial infarction, and large artery stroke, as well as the levels of fasting blood glucose and low-density lipoprotein C, or LDL-C. So yeah, omega-6 seems to be not the greatest for those things, right? Since a considerable chance of heterogeneity was observed for some of the results, further research is needed to elucidate the effects of omega-6 PUFAs on cardiometabolic outcomes. Okay, that's also good to know. When you look at a meta-analysis, it tries to look at if you have a dozen studies and half of them show the effect that you're looking for and half of them don't, those are not very homogeneous results or homogeneous results. So whatever, it's the less strong claim that you can make, because it's not, if you had 12 studies that all showed that it was neutral to very good, that you can make a stronger claim with that. But if you have a bunch of, if half your studies are, show no effect, and the other half are split between good and bad, like, it's like, okay, well, it looks overall, a neutral-ish, but yeah. So yeah, it's the heterogeneity thing. Okay, so omega 6 might might significantly increase the risk of NHD, myocardial infarction, and large artery. God, I know how to type. Stroke, as well as levels of fasting blood glucose and low density lipoprotein C. Negative association with total cholesterol and triglycerides. Considerable amount of, or considerable chance of heterogeneity. Okay. We will cut that link. Stuff that in there. If you want to read the whole study, you can. It's fun. It's just generally very dense. But analysis is easier to read because it's not quite. I mean, there's obviously some technical stuff in there, but they're generally just explaining the criteria they used, to find the studies, which ones they excluded and why. You can get, you go through the actual results, kind of explains a little bit more in detail. But yeah. But we don't have time for that shit. All right. Just 20 minutes. I need to make it through some of it. Fuck. Okay, I forgot. We have 3 other fucking 1, 2, 3 more. Around 4. Okay, so cancer. Omega 6 cancer. Oh. There we go. Omega 6 cancer. Oh, perfect. Hopefully that breaks it out. But here's omega 3, omega 6, and total dietary polyunsaturated fat, whatever, blah blah blah. So relationship between long chain omega 3s, alpha linoleic acid, omega 6, and total polyunsaturated fatty acid intakes, and cancer risk is unclear. Results included 47. So long chain omega 3 has little or no effect in cancer diagnosis, cancer death, or breast cancer diagnosis. Increasing ALA has little or no effect in cancer death. Increasing both may slightly increase prostate cancer risk. Increasing total PUFA may slightly increase risk of diagnosis and death, but total PUFA doses were very high in some trials. You didn't even say anything about omega 6 in here. Fuck you, liar. Roles, diets, rich in, you know what? Look at this one. Just because it's written in Spanish, and we want to support our brothers in Mexico or Spain or whatever the fuck. Therapeutic role of omega-3 and prove. This also doesn't. Over the past decades, some studies have addressed the therapeutic effects of omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids and the opposite effects of omega-6 PUFAs on several diseases, including cardiovascular disorders, diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases, and cancer. Research demonstrates the safety of these naturally occurring ingredients. Of particular interest, show omega-3 PUFAs possess a therapeutic role. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's also not omega-6. Okay, let's put in development of cancer. Dietary intake. Ass cancer. Okay, we're just gonna see if this study actually brings up omega-6s at some point. 11. Omega-6, omega-6. Wait, what's that? Linoleic acid. Okay, whatever. Omega-6. Production, part of a series. Health benefits. Omega-6 or total. Where is, okay, hang on. There's omega-6 and 9 trials. Okay, there are 8 assessed omega-6. Where is long chain omega-3? Ooh, it's pretty. Great. Evidence for effects of omega-6 on all cancer outcomes was unclear and of very low quality. A plus. So. Effects of omega-6 on all cancer outcomes was unclear and of very low quality. I don't think that's supposed to be hyphenated, but we're going to put it in there anyway. Alright, hang on. BRB. Okay. Cancer. Alright, doesn't seem good for the cancer statement. And hashtags inflammation. So, whatever. Listen, we're just gathering studies. We'll go back through, dig through them a little bit deeper later if we need to. Inflammation. Ooh, that's nice. Anti-inflammatory effects. Cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome. Alright, listen. What do these people say? Consumption of seed oils high contributes to low-grade inflammation, oxidative stress, endothelial dysfunction, and atherosclerosis. This is actually probably a fucking treasure trove of all. Of all the dumb shit he's saying. But to be fair, I guess he hasn't said anything too stupid yet. But we're going to say that one for sure. So, where this is. Okay. So, here's the reading part. Decreasing the omega-6 to 3 ratio seems to reduce the inflammatory response to a high-fat meal. Okay. All right, we're gonna have a couple quotes here. So decreasing the omega-6 3 ratio seems to reduce the inflammatory response to a high fat meal. For example, one study looked at responses in men with metabolic syndrome to an oral fat tolerance test. By adjusting omega-6 to 3 ratio, patients ingested 2 high saturated fat oral fat tolerance tests with either a high omega-6 to 3 ratio, so 18 to 1, which you see is a little bit above average, or above what the average ratio is in the Western diet, and a low ratio, which is 3 to 1, which is still pretty high compared to, like, I guess, history, and a water control. Reducing the omega-6 to 3 ratio caused a lower release of the pro-inflammatory cytokine interleukin 6 at hours 6 and 8. Additionally, Nelson and Hickey performed a study showing that an isocaloric replacement of laurionic acid with alpha-lipoic acid for just 4 days leads to a reduction in soluble interleukin 6 receptor. Neat. These studies suggest that replacing omega-6 with omega-3 reduces inflammation. All right. So, let's scoop both of those two. Fuck. 28 and 29. We're just gonna throw these here for a second. 28 and 29. Fuck, what was the other number? It was 29. Alright. Also DOI link. Okay. Title. Link. Home. This is the most important part of research, is organizing all the shit and all the formatting. It's great. See, need a period at the end of the sentence, because even though it's not a sentence, it's a fucking title. Don't need a period there. Okay, so lowering the ratio seems to... It's the same amount of fat though, right? Yeah, okay. So 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight. So yeah, it's the same amount. I don't know. They probably wouldn't do something stupid like give 15 extra parts to one thing, or to one group. That'd be silly. So let's look at high saturated fat meal inflammation. Low grade inflammation and cardiovascular disease. Orange juice modulates pro-inflammatory cytokines after high-fat saturated meal consumption. Interesting. I don't give a fuck about orange juice here. So, all right, let's just tear through this abstract real quick. Do we find something else? The mantra that dietary saturated fat must be minimized to reduce cardiovascular disease risk has dominated the nutritional guidelines for decades. Parallel to decreasing intakes of fat and saturated fatty acids, there have been increases in carbohydrate and sugar intakes, overweight, obesity, and type 2 diabetes mellitus. The lipid hypothesis coined the concept that fat, especially saturated fatty acids, raises blood low-density lipoprotein cholesterol and thereby CVD risk. In view of the current controversies regarding their adequate intakes and effects, this review aims to summarize research regarding the heterogenic group of fatty acids and mechanisms relating them to chronic systemic low-grade inflammation, insulin resistance, and metabolic syndrome, and notably cardiovascular disease. The intimate relationship between inflammation and metabolism, including glucose, fat, and cholesterol metabolism, revealed that dyslipidemia in Western societies, notably increased triglycerides, small dense LDL, and dysfunctional HDL. It is influenced by many unfavorable lifestyle factors. Dietary saturated fatty acids is only one of these, and not necessarily the most important in healthy, insulin-sensitive people. Just don't make fun of their insulin because they're sensitive, I guess. The environment provides us not only with many other pro-inflammatory stimuli than saturated fatty acids, but also with many anti-inflammatory counterparts. Resolution of the conflict between our self-designed environment and ancient genome may rather rely on returning to the pro-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory balance of the Paleolithic era, in consonance with the 21st century culture. What the fuck? Kind of... Okay. Accordingly, dietary guidelines might reconsider recommendations for saturated fatty acid replacement and investigate diet in a broader context, together with non-dietary lifestyle factors. There should be a clear priority opposed to the reductionist approach of studying the effects of single nutrients, such as saturated fatty acids. Yeah, well, that's cool. I like them talking mad shit about the mainstream, I guess. So, anyway, I just want to know, does this shit cause inflammation? Introduction. Inflammation. Adequate intakes. Use summaries research findings. Alright. So we're gonna search for increase inflammation. Alright. Produce. Nope. Fuck. Whatever. Listen. We can zoom out a bit and look at our headings. Function, occurrence, human milk, lipid hypothesis. Current intakes. Far from a Paleolithic diet. You know, shit. Trans fatty acids. Substitution by non-indication benefit. Okay. Oh, that's relevant. The harmful effect of dietary fat, notably saturated fatty acids, and its relation with cardiovascular disease is increasingly questioned. Recently, a revised meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials showed that the substitution of saturated fatty acids and possibly trans fatty acids with omega-6 PUFAs without simultaneously increasing omega-3 PUFAs presents no indication of benefit and is even likely to increase cardiovascular disease risk. So we'll get into this later. But yeah, the you want a ratio of the reason why you want a lower ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is that God, yeah, I think omega-6 is what stabilizes the omega-3, but or maybe it's the other way around. So whatever. As I said, we'll get into that later, probably. But yeah, whatever. Listen, we'll go back to it, I guess. Still looking for inflammation here. Inflammation. Pleiotropic effect of statins. Relationship between. Okay. I do like this paper. We're gonna search again though. High fat inflammation. Actually, you know what? I wonder if high fat meal inflammation. I wonder if just normal Google. Okay. So, in recent years, chronic overnutrition, or whatever, let's probably start with the title. This is inflammatory links between high-fat diets and diseases. Whatever, sorry. So what we're looking for here is, if the inflammatory response is just coming from a high-fat meal, then like whether it's omega, whatever the fucks, or saturated fatty acids, it doesn't matter. If it, trying to verify that, just a high-fat meal, whether it's saturated or unsaturated fats, if that's going to cause a low-level inflammatory response, and if it's confounded in God, words are stupid. Trying to make sure the inflammatory response from the seed oil fats, we're checking if the inflammatory response from the seed oil fats is comparable to animal fats. There we go. So, in recent years, chronic overnutrition, such as consumption of a high-fat diet, has been increasingly viewed as a significant modifiable risk for diseases such as diabetes or types of cancer. However, the mechanisms by which high-fat diets exert adverse effects on human health remains poorly understood. Yeah, this paper reviews scientific literature. Okay, whatever, fuck you. Whatever. Is a section. High-fat diets induce a systemic chronic low-grade inflammation. Following the ingestion of high-fat diets, inflammation develops in the central nervous system, including the hypothalamus, and in the peripheral tissue, including the liver, adipose tissue, skeletal muscle, and intestine. So the real question is this all types of fat? Does that count? Because if it's like a mix of saturated and unsaturated, then you can't technically, completely blame the saturated. Bump. Fucking punch a mic. Charles River. I know them. Tiny cold male mice. Okay, so this is in mice. We don't give a fuck about mice. Talked. All right, listen. We're just gonna add this as a R. Do all high fat meals cause inflammation? Bam. And that's how you don't get sucked down a rabbit hole. We are still 1 minute into this fucking video. So, that's why we're gonna move on.
Then you have the oxidation and stability, which is what I talked about there, because of an inflammation. Basically, the reason why this is bad is because it causes heart disease, cancer, and inflammatory conditions. Then you have the oxidation and stability, which is what I talked about there, because the polyunsaturated fats prone to oxidation, and oxidation fats can lead to production of harmful
Okay. Have okay. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Polyunsaturated fats are prone to oxidation, but he definitely said of the oxidation and the stability.
Of fats, prone to oxidation, mobility, which is heart disease, cancer, and inflammatory conditions. Then you have the oxidation and stability, which is what I talked about there, because the polyunsaturated fats prone to oxidation, and oxidation fats can lead to production.
All right. Whatever. It's good enough. Okay. So, PUFAs are prone to oxidation. Whatever. I know that this is true. This is true just because they're polyunsaturated fats. They have a double bond. Yeah. Do this because the drawings help. You have a normal fat. Normally fatty acids are these long chains of things. Where this is all carbons. Whatever. At each intersection of two lines, there's a carbon. And at each intersection, there is also 3 hydrogens. Wow, this is way harder than handwriting. That's that exists all the way down this chain. I'm not gonna draw it all because that's AIDS. You have unsaturated. It means at some point in that chain, you have a double bond between 2 carbons, which means there's only 1 hydrogen. More importantly, this double bond, atoms bond using electrons. So a single bond, there's 1 shared pair of electrons. And in a double bond, there's 2 shared pairs. So this is, a little more negative compared to your single bonds. Hopefully you remember chemistry, I guess. That was a very quick explanation of that. But let's get a link anyway, because I don't want this video to ever end. Proof of oxidation. Paradox 3. Sort of oxidative stability. That looks cute. All right. Let's make sure this says what we think. The oxidative stability of polyunsaturated fatty acids in micelles and in liposomes is dramatically different from that observed in bulk phase and organic solvents. Okay, whatever. In aqueous micelles, hexanoic acid is oxidatively most stable, followed by I don't remember what EPA stands for. Arachidonic acid, alpha linoleic acid, gamma linoleic acid, and linoleic acid. Okay, this is too much chemistry. Whatever. Listen, I'm just gonna tell you that this is true. I know this is true. We don't need a goddamn link. And I'm not saving a goddamn PDF. Fucking nerds trying to hack my computer. But yeah, PUFAs are prone to oxidation because they have a double bond. That's just whatever, basic chemistry.
Production of harmful free radicals, prone to oxidation, and oxidation fats can lead to production of harmful free radicals, which is what we're talking about, causing stress, aging, and chronic diseases.
Okay, that's a more actionable claim. PUFAs, free radicals. So, yes, this is true. Bonk. So yeah, free radical chain reactions and polyunsaturated fatty acids and brain lipids. So yeah, basically, as one gets oxidized, the rest of them get oxidized. There's a chain that happens because once you have a free radical PUFA, then it starts doing that to other PUFAs, which is not good, bad even. So oh, ACL chains. Is that ACL chains? Why is it ACL chains? Wait, ACL. Wait, is that what it is? What the fuck? Polyunsaturated fatty ACL chains. Huh, okay. An acetyl chain is a group of acyl groups that bond together in a chain-like configuration. Thanks, AI. Fucking. Hydroxyl group. Okay. Oh, duh. Okay. So this is. Oh, no, it's not. Wait, what? Acyl group is. Oh, just a double bonded oxygen. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. That's what I thought it was. Whatever. They might not be fatty acids. They're fatty acyls, which is just like a fatty acid, but the hydroxyl group is replaced. That means something to someone, probably. Okay. Is this actually an experiment? So, materials and methods. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is an actual experiment. So, all right. Well, just gonna read this. So, it is well recognized that polyunsaturated fatty acyl chains may undergo free radical chain reactions in vitro, and widely assumed that chain reactions of this sort are responsible for the oxidative degradation of PUFAs in vivo. Okay, so in vitro means in a model, but like in a petri dish basically, and in vivo is yeah. Right. Or yeah, no. In vivo is actually in the live organism. God damn it. They should pick different fucking names. Yeah, in vivo. Yeah, because the in vitro is they do the stuff outside of the anyway. However, PUFAs may undergo free radical mediated oxidative degradation without the propagation of a chain reaction. Indeed, chain reactions have stringent kinetic requirements for propagation, and they are subject to quenching by a wide variety of naturally occurring free radical scavengers. Therefore, it is not immediately clear that free radical chain reactions can propagate in vivo, yet it is important to understand whether they can propagate in vivo because of their potential to amplify the chemical damage caused by free radicals and contribute to the manifestations of oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is a recurring theme in human pathology, and of particular importance in the brain, where it has been implicated in the pathogenesis of Alzheimer's disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Friedreich's ataxia, and other disorders of the central nervous system. Some forms of oxidative stress are enzymatically initiated and regulated, while other forms involve spontaneous and unregulated chemical reactions. The unregulated forms of oxidative stress are often implicated in the pathogenesis of neurodegenerative disease. Shit, darkness. Hang on. Why you don't time your lights? Okay. Fuck were we? Are enzymatically initiated and regulated, while their forms involve spontaneous and unregulated. The unregulated forms of oxidative stress are often implicated in the pathogenesis of neurodegenerative disease, and reviews of the literature in this field often focus on the role of metal ions and compounds that are susceptible to oxidative damage owing to their low reduction potentials. So yeah, basically whenever you have like oxidation and reduction are basically two sides of the same coin. If something is getting oxidized, that means something else is getting reduced. Uh, if that's helpful. PUFAs comprise 0.5 to 0.7% of the total brain mass and are particularly susceptible to the unregulated form of oxidative stress in which a bisallylic hydrogen is removed by a hydroxyl radical, and molecular oxygen is added to form a lipid peroxy radical. Jesus. Whatever. They have a drawing here. That's great. If that doesn't make sense. And if the picture somehow makes more sense. I hate... Why? Why'd you do that? But yeah, you can... I hate this. Okay. So yeah, you can kind of see this here. You have the PUFA forming a free radical. Then oxygen gets stapled onto it. Then it becomes yeah, this third guy here, that's the peroxy radical. Or oh no, because that's okay. No, that already has an acyl. Okay. But yeah, whatever. Chemistry, huzzah. Uh, whatever. I think we can call that true. No. Where? Okay. The peroxy radicals formed in this way may be reduced to peroxide and undergo spontaneous decomposition. Peroxide is a very strong oxidizer, and yeah, that stuff you buy that makes your cuts fizzle. It's great. Where the fuck? If the PUFAs in the brain are oxidatively degraded solely by the direct action of a hydroxyl radical, then one hydroxyl radical should yield just one oxidatively degraded PUFA. Because most PUFAs in the brain are either arachidonate or docosahexaenoate. Jesus. It follows that a decrease in the concentration of one of these PUFAs species should reduce the number of reactions between this PUFA species and the available hydroxyl radicals, making more hydroxyl radicals available to increase the oxidatively degradation of the other PUFA species. Paradoxically, however, a diet-induced deficiency of omega-3 PUFAs reduces the in vivo oxidative degradation of ARA in the brains of mice. Okay, so because we have less omega-3s, it reduces the... that's interesting. Okay, so this is in mice, which is something to keep in mind. But this seems to say that when you have less omega-3s, it reduces the oxidative stress of ARA. So your omega, or yeah, whatever. You have less omega-3s. They can be oxidized less. Listen, I'm just gonna throw this link here. We're not gonna write anything cool. We're just gonna put the title in it, or not that one. Dietary induced deficiency of omega-3 PUFAs. Whatever. Type in diet induced deficiency of omega-3 PUFAs reduces the in vivo oxidative degradation of ARA in the brains of mice. Okay. I don't give a fuck about Free radicals. This is okay. We're 2 seconds into this fucking video.
You have high heat processing, which is another thing that's what I talked about there, because the polyunsaturated fats prone to oxidation, and oxidation fats can lead to production of harmful free radicals, which is what we're talking about, causing stress, aging, and chronic diseases. And you have high heat.
Okay, so we're gonna make this a sub point, I guess. Higher oxidative stress
Processing, which is another thing that happens in these, because like a lot of free radicals, which is what we're talking about, causing stress, aging, and chronic diseases. And
higher oxidative stress causes stress, aging, and chronic diseases. Oh yeah, oxidative stress is bad. I can confirm. That's like a very broad topic. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Antioxidants have been pushed for a while for that reason. Because yeah, free radicals are they're a compound with an unpaired electron, which is generally not ideal. But yeah, whatever. Come back to that.
you have high heat processing, which is another thing that happens in these, because like a lot of these seed oils are just like byproducts of making other stuff, and then they pump them full of like all these other stuff, like butane, stuff like that as well.
Jesus. All right. So what? High heat process. Processes.
Causing stress, aging, and chronic diseases. And you have high heat processing, which is another thing that happens in these, because like a lot of these seed oils are just like byproducts of making other stuff, and
Byproducts of making other stuff. So, where are most seed oils derived from? There are seed oils a byproduct. Wow. Great. So, okay. Seed oils. What? Cotton? All right. Monounsaturated, 52% of Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. So we're just completely ignoring the fact that hydrogenated vegetable oils exist, uh, which yeah will change the unsaturated fatty acids into saturated fatty acids, which is hilarious. Produced by cotton. Another order is okra. Glands seed. Economic history. Okay. Now, the byproduct of cotton processing, cottonseed was considered virtually worthless before the late 19th century. Um, Okay, so cottonseed, like other vegetable oils, is extracted from the seed of the plant through either mechanical processes or such as crushing crushing and pressing. So you can get pressed. Yeah, I don't know. That's cotton come. Oh yeah, I guess that's why the cotton gin, right? Because cotton has seeds in it. Hmm. High heat processes. What the fuck? Oh, he means the smoke point, probably. All right, listen. Maybe we should just let him talk before we start digging too deep into stuff.
And then they pump it full of like all these other stuff, like butane, stuff like that as well. So it basically degrades the quality of the oil, and then you're throwing that because they have a high heat temperature. You're throwing that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So he does mean smoke point. They have a high heat temperature. Yeah, he's talking about smoke point. But yeah, that's basically different oils have different temperatures that they vaporize at. You can see this guy. Yeah, Reddit is the best source. But yeah, you can see there's a pretty wide variety of temperatures where, yeah, basically when the oil will start to like cook and like burn off. Do you want to write this down? This is such a dumb point. He just doesn't cook, which is fine. Seed oils are high heat. I think he means smoke point and is putting it in scare quotes because he doesn't know how to cook. A little rough, but all right.
Launch upgrades, pump it full of like all these other stuff, like butane, stuff like that as well. So it basically degrades the quality of the oil, and then you're throwing that because they have a high heat temperature. You're throwing that onto your pan and then coating your food and this stuff. And a lot of these fast food places as well have.
Okay, so whatever. Full of butane and stuff. So what we can get mechanical extract seed oil. Or not. How is most seed oil extracted? French oil. The fuck is extension? Whatever. All right, I'm gonna open a couple of these. Oilseed processing and oil extraction processes are designed to obtain high quality oil with minimal undesirable components, achieve high extraction yields, and produce high value meal. There are several techniques for extracting oil from oilseeds. Two common oilseed extraction processes are solvent extraction and mechanical extraction using a screw press. Today in the United States, mechanical oil expression is not widely used due to low oil recovery. However, the use of screw press is preferred by small processors because of its low capacity cost or low capital cost. Solvent extraction with hexane is the standard practice in today's modern oilseed processing facilities. Solvent extraction plant capacities range from 100 to 9,000 metric tons per day. Jesus fucking Christ. Supercritical fluid, water, and enzyme-aided water extraction processes are of interest for specialty and gourmet oil productions. Okay. So, most seed oil is extracted using hexane because McCann and now this isn't like a study, right? So we don't really this isn't a super duper strong claim. But yeah, whatever. Just a thing to keep in mind. Because mechanical extraction has low yield. Does this even say butane? You know, and he said butane. They're using hexane. I wonder. Okay, this is okay. So he said butane, but I think he's just dumb, and he meant benzene, which is also a great solvent. This whole thing. Fuck you. Dog shit. So did he mean benzene? Question mark. Terribly organized. Listen, we'll get through it. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, so high heat bad, butane bad. They don't use butane, but whatever.
Have these oils thrown on them as well to add flavor, even though the fact that they're being cut with like these chemical solvents, like I said, like butane and shit like that as well. And you have like health concerns, which again, like we mentioned before,
They're being cut with. I don't know if cut with. I don't know if he means that. They're being cut with chemicals. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just presuming he doesn't have the chemistry background to understand that these are solvents that are used to extract stuff, and there can be trace amounts left over. They generally test for that. They're generally pretty stringent about that. So that's curious. All right, almost at 2 minutes. Holy shit.
inflammation because of the high omega-6 content, which is like chronic diseases like arthritis, like inflammation in your joints, inflammation in your hip.
All right, we're back in inflammation. We already read that, but yeah, whatever. Yes, PUFAs are prone to oxidation. Yeah, whatever. Degrid. Is that how you spell degradation? The fuck? Oh, no, it's not how you spell degradation. Dumb fuck. Fuck. Degradation. Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, seed oils is what causes arthritis for sure. Obviously. Any bad inflammatory effects you have is it's just the omega-6, I guess.
Hips, any back pains, all that kind of shit. So, and like I mentioned as well, like cancers that it causes as well. Like we're discovering now with all these cancers that we're getting, like it's literally coming because of all this inflammation that's coming from.
Where discovered We're discovering all these cancers being caused by inflammation. Okay.
From the body as well. And you have metabolic effects. So like in terms of this, like it's basically because it contributes to like insulin resistance. It means that your insulin is never actually
okay. Contribute to insulin resistance. All right. Insulin resistance. Prevention of insulin resistance did not include a control group. In hemodialysis patients. Lipidemia Lombardo. Is that the same guy? Is this also Lombardo? No, this is Di Niccolo Antonio. Okay. Metabolic syndrome. Nutritional tool. Okay, so that agrees with us. This also agrees with us. Okay, here we go. Long chain omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids and erythrocyte phospholipids are associated with insulin resistance in non-obese type 2 diabetics. Associations have been described between insulin action and long-chain omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids in skeletal muscle and erythrocytes. Erythrocytes is baby blood cells. Erythrocytes. It's baby, yeah, red blood cells. Association between insulin resistance and long-chain omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids in erythrocyte phospholipids of type 2 diabetics. So, except for 18 to 22 and 23, the individual omega-6 fatty acids tested in the sum of long-chain omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids correlated negatively with insulin resistance at p.005. Likewise, a negative correlation was found for the combined action of delta 5 and delta 6 desaturases. Our results indicate that formation of long-chain omega-6 fatty acids from 18 to 2 omega-6 by desaturation elongation is impaired under insulin-resistant conditions, and reduced desaturase activities may be involved. In view of our results, we hypothesize that in insulin-resistant conditions, insulin-mediated activation of delta 5 and delta 6 desaturases may not occur. So I think what he's saying here is wrong. Sum of long-chain omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids correlated negatively with insulin resistance. I know. And is that what that means? Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure this is saying the more omega-6, the less insulin resistance. That's what it has to mean, right? Oh. Okay, never mind. It says the opposite here. Increased insulin resistance observed in our study group is characteristic for type 2 diabetes. The finding that a higher insulin resistance in type 2 diabetics correlates with a lower fraction of arachidonic acid and long chain omega 6 polyunsaturated fatty acids in red blood cell phospholipids is in line with the previous report where fasting insulin was taken as a surrogate marker for insulin resistance. The present study, fasting insulin also correlated negatively with 20 to 4 omega 6. That 20 to 4, I think that's so it's 20 carbon, the 20 carbon chain with um, four double bonds, so 4 degrees of saturation. Um, okay, so you know what? We're gonna throw this guy in there. Because why the fuck not? But also this is not diabetic people, so or this is only in diabetic people. This is accepted. Okay. Permit. Oh, fucking Australians. Okay. We're gonna read this whole thing. Fuck. Okay, whatever. Fuck it. Reading it. Consumption of a Western diet rich in saturated fats is associated with obesity and insulin resistance. In some insulin resistant phenotypes, this is associated with accumulation of skeletal muscle fatty acids. We examine the effects of diets high in saturated or N6 polyunsaturated fatty acids on skeletal muscle fatty acid metabolites, and whole body insulin sensitivity. Male Sprague Dolly rats were fed a chow diet or a diet high in saturated fat or PUFAs for 8 weeks. Insulin sensitivity was assessed by fasting plasma glucose and insulin and glucose tolerance via an oral glucose tolerance test. Muscle ceramide and diacylglycerol levels and triacylglycerol level fatty acids were also measured. Both high-fat diets increased plasma free fatty acid levels by 30%, compared with paired with the chow diet, sat-fed rats were insulin resistant, whereas PUFA-treated rats showed improved insulin sensitivity. Okay, so this is in rats, which is important to note. So we're gonna pull up a less AIDS link, and so in rats. So saturated, blah 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 blah. And DOI link because DOI links are cute. B. In rats. Okay. I don't know if this is true or not. Might be false. So why? guess. All right. Guess we're gonna read it. This whatever. We will steal this later if we have to. Um, recent findings. Overall, results from animal studies indicate that fish oil and individual N3 PUFA, alpha linoleic acid, icosa pentaenoic acid, and docosahexaenoic acid. God, that's hard. Prevented insulin resistance in animal models. Results from 2 studies in mice showed that EPA increased insulin secretion. ALA, EPA, and DHA may act at different sites and involve different mechanisms. Fish oil or purified EPA reduced insulin resistance in some, but not other human studies in normal weight and obese individuals. Discrepancies may be due to differences in health status of participants, macronutrient, fatty acid, and antioxidant nutrient composition of basal diet, amount, duration, and fatty acid composition of N3 PUFA, and methods used to assess insulin resistance. Moderate amounts of N3 PUFA did not improve or deteriorate glucose control in type 2 diabetics. N3 PUFA supplementation has clinical significance in the prevention and reversal of insulin resistance. However, increased intake of N3 PUFA should be part of an overall healthy lifestyle that includes weight control, exercise, and reduction in the intake of refined sugars, N6, saturated, and trans fatty acids. Okay, so this is from 2009, which is fine. That's why they're transphobic. Because we used to think that trans fats were the bad fats. Weird. Okay. So gonna add this. Okay, so it's N3 supplementation has clinical significance in the prevention and reversal of insulin resistance. And fuck, no good DOI link. Give me a cute DOI link. There we go. Oh, is it just here? Nope. Okay. Okay. Also have to note what journal this is in, which is Current Opinion on Clinical Nutrition and Metabolic Care. So yeah, this is old. It's very old. We're gonna note that it's very old. Okay. So I don't think we can comfortably say that they cause insulin resistance. Gonna quickly glance at some of the other ones, but all of these seem to be on not healthy people, which I don't know, kind of fucks things up. It was concluded that the EPA and DHA moderate dose administration in patients with CRF and MHD had a beneficial effect on insulin resistance decrease. The anti-inflammatory effects of these supplemental PUFAs were also presented. Yes, are you coming up? Come over it out. Mr. Kitty Cat. Okay, so we are. This is also old, right? Um, what year? 2007. Okay, so Mr. Meow. Just gonna copy this title and throw it in here. Yeah. And add a quote. It was concluded that the EPA and DHA moderate dose administration and the patients with the fuck is this? Chronic renal failure and DHA. Dot. Fuck is DHA? Oh no, looking for MHD. Dumb fuck. On maintenance. Chemo. Dialysis. Oh, that's not ANT. It's on maintenance hemodialysis. Had a beneficial effect on insulin resistance decrease. Okay. The anti-inflammatory effects of the supplemented PUFAs were also presented. Okay. This is also getting at something else that's important. PUFAs is a huge category. I mean, not a super duper huge category. But I mean, there are a lot of different combinations that you can have. So yeah, I mean, so when we're looking at polyunsaturated fatty acids, there are what 4, 3, 6, 9, 12. There's 12 omega 3s, and another 10 omega 6s. Some of these might be more esoteric. You might not actually encounter these in your normal diet. But yeah, it's important to qualify. We're talking about a huge category of 24 different compounds and putting them all in the same box for reasons. So yeah, so when we talk about the oxidative stress and their risk of oxidation, that is very important to keep in mind. Where it's like they have different levels of stability. So some of them are less prone to oxidation than others. Require different solvents to extract from wherever the fuck you're getting them from. And yeah. So we should put that somewhere. And put that up here. Include include over 20 different substances with various properties. That's vague as fuck, but whatever. But yeah. But yeah, it's, don't want to drill in too deep to all the specifics, but that's also, why a lot of these, even the studies that we're looking at, you have to sometimes even go further, like actually break out. It's like, okay, well, omega-6 versus omega-3, well, like which omega-6s and which omega-3s and blah, blah, blah. I think I'm going to shorten this to that. Yeah. Yeah. That looks prettier, right? Look at that. That's cute as fuck. Alright. We're gonna put a meme link in here. Fucker. Oh, 20. Okay, whatever. We're trying different substances. It's kind of weird to lump them all together. Great. Okay. The fuck are we doing? Alright, insulin resistance. Probably not contributing to insulin resistance. I think I'm gonna comfortably say that. There. Well, let's. These are all old. Fuck. Okay, whatever. This is, again, not a healthy. It is in humans, which is good, but it's not on normal people. Normal is racist. You're not allowed to say that anymore. But yeah, whatever. Listen, fucking insulin resistance. Jesus Christ. 2.5 minutes through. How far are we gonna get?
You're basically getting a resistance to the insulin, so your body needs to produce more insulin just to get that effect. And then what that's doing is it's inflaming your body even more.
And okay, so Jesus, we're never making it through this fucking video. All right, so higher insulin resistance leads to higher inflammation. You know what? We're gonna drop that one down. Okay, so insulin inflammation. New insights into insulin, the anti-inflammatory effect, and its clinical relevance. Hyperglycemia, a commonly exhibited metabolic disorder in critically ill patients, activates the body's inflammatory defense mechanism, causing the waterfall release of numerous inflammatory mediators and cytokines. It eventually leads to organ damage. They fucked up the piano. As the only glucose-lowering hormone in the body, insulin not only alleviates the detrimental effects of hyperglycemia through its metabolic regulation, but also directly modulates inflammatory mediators and acts upon immune cells to enhance immunocompetence. In this sense, hyperglycemia is a pro-inflammatory, whereas insulin is anti-inflammatory. Do we even need to read any more? It agrees with us. We don't need to fucking finish shit. We're just gonna put no. No, or not. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. Insulin's an anti-inflammatory. I know that now.
And it's slowing your metabolism down as well. And then when it comes to heart health as well,
Higher insulin slows your metabolism. Okay. Proof is. All right, we're gonna change this title to something a little bit better. Fuck, what do we call it? PUFAs and insulin. 1, 2, 3. This one's 33. Okay. Need 4. Insulin resistance. Higher insulin leads to inflammation. Higher insulin slows your metabolism. Oh, that is that's technically true. Should organize this better. Should label stuff. It's true or not. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Insulin is anti-catabolic. That is true. Yep, that's actually just about right. So yeah, this is not a well understood phenomenon. But insulin is anti-catabolic. It is what helps sequester glucose in your bloodstream into your cells. That's why if you have high blood glucose, your body releases insulin in order to take glucose out of your blood and put it into your cells. That's just the basics of insulin. Oh, that's interesting. So this is quoting two things. Abnormal insulin sensitivity persists up to 3 years in pediatric patients post-burn. Woof. Extended hypermetabolic response to the liver in severely burned pediatric patient. Okay, well, that's for burned people. But yeah, whatever. It's well accepted that insulin is anti-catabolic. That's why bodybuilders will shoot up with it alongside their fucking roids. Because yeah, when you work out, your muscles. Okay, I'm gonna back up a little bit actually. So your blood sugar, so glucose in your body is converted into glycogen for storage, which is basically just long chains of sugar molecules, more or less. And then that's what your muscles actually use. They just chop off a sugar at the end and break it down from there. And so after you work out, basically, or in your glycogen stores are depleted, your muscles are looking for some markers in order to synthesize more muscle tissue. Part of that is replenishing your glycogen stores. This is why there's so much fucking sugar in Gatorade and basically every sports drink that's marketed. Because when you're working out and you deplete your glycogen stores, an important part of protein synthesis is replenishing those glycogen stores. It's like a trigger after a workout that you're for your muscles to know that, like, oh hey, we're not like starving, we're not running for our lives, and so if your glycogen gets replenished within the whatever anabolic window, if that's a real thing even, it can help upregulate protein synthesis, can help you build muscle, and insulin works with that by helping to store glucose in your cells to make the glycogen to have these triggers. It also does stop the breakdown of proteins and your muscles. There's a big, whatever. Insulin's an important part of a workout, or it's an important trigger for your muscles to build more of itself.
Well, a lot of
it is an important part of your muscles, or of building muscle, not only because it triggers them to make more of itself, but it also stops them from breaking themselves down, which is the more important thing. Because even if it triggers stuff to be built and it's not stopping stuff being broken down, you can have like a net loss.
These studies are done where it's like it'll take like the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing.
Oh, he actually brought up the studies. I think it's the first time he said studies.
The oil itself, after it's been done all this heavily processed as well, body even more, and it's slowing your metabolism down as well. And then when it comes to heart health as well, a lot of these studies are done where it's like it'll take like the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing the oil itself after it's been.
Hang on, burps. Okay, so he's moving on to heart health. That we already talked about that stuff, but
done all this heavily processed as well. And just to note as well, like how can these, like all these foods that
okay, wait, he was saying something, then he didn't say anything.
is never actually you're basically getting a resistance to the insulin, so your body needs to produce more insulin just to get that effect. And then what that's doing is it's inflaming your body even more, and it's slowing your metabolism down as well. And then when it comes to heart health as well, a lot of these studies are done where it's like it'll take like the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing the oil itself.
Okay. I just need to write this whole thing down, I guess. A lot of these studies are done where it's not actually processed.
After it's been done. And when it comes to heart health as well, a lot of these studies are done where it's like it'll take like the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing the oil itself after it's been done all this heavily processed as well.
But it's not actually. What the
Um,
fuck?
slowing your metabolism down as well. And then when it comes to heart health as well, a lot of these studies are done where it's like it'll take like the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing the oil itself after it's been done all this heavily processed as well. Um,
Okay, I need to pull up the fucking transcript, I guess. A lot of these studies are done where it's like it'll take the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing the oil itself after it's been. Or it's not actually processed. What the fuck is he saying?
and then when it comes to heart health as well, a lot of these studies are done where it's like it'll take like the original part of it, whereas it's not actually processing the oil itself after.
Oh, says my shit is fucked. Is my shit fucked? Why? Why is my bitrate 0? Oh, whatever. Am I fucking here? My sound still on? I can't tell. Hang on. We're gonna fucking check, I guess. Okay. It is working. And now it says excellent. Don't know what the fuck that was. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I wonder how many more times I'm gonna loop in this single fucking sentence.
After it's been done all this heavily processed as well.
Done where it's not actually processed and it's taking the original thing before it goes through all of this heavy processing. Alright, that is a sentence. We're moving on.
And just to note as well, like how can these like all these foods that are heavily processed be cheaper than the organic? Think about it. Like even the word ultra processed means that you're putting in more processing, you're putting in more stuff. So like imagine this, like any kind of material you have in the world, it is cheaper to buy it raw than it is to buy it when it's processed, because the process requires some sort of labor, requires.
Is that true? Always cheaper to buy something raw before processing. Yeah, I guess the validity of that depends on like what you're buying. It's like I don't know, if you're buying like fucking iron ore and it's it's like 10% iron and it's way cheaper than buying just pure iron. It's different. Yeah, that might not be the line of attack here. Why would that be? Why is okay, actually. So the ultra processed stuff is definitely like more stable. Think about organic food. It doesn't have a very long shelf life. It's not chock full of preservatives. It's got a lot of more complex molecules in there that are more reactive. Whereas when you're just consolidating stuff down to like the raw ingredients and mixing it together to make like a fucking cookie, or rather when you're looking at the ultra processed foods, they're much more stable. So there's a lot more, like they can just make an egregious amount of it, store it for forever, and then like they don't have to worry about it spoiling, basically. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense why the ultra processed stuff is more or is cheaper, and the organic stuff is more expensive. You're just like, it's just the economics of it. Of the organic stuff, more of it is going to spoil before it gets sold. Like, kind of by, necessarily, like by definition. It's just how that works.
Some sort of effort or energy spent into producing that processed item. Whereas the raw item, you're getting it just as it is, just in the natural state.
Also, food is a really terrible example for this. Um, I mean, whatever. Yeah, the raw thing. I mean, even whatever. Think about getting corn. That's not. I don't know. Food still has to be like harvested. So it's
How is a more processed item more expensive than the item itself when it's in its raw form? Which just doesn't make any sense.
yeah. I mean, as we said, it does make sense. This one down too. How is something more processed cheaper and not non-processed? Listen, I don't know why we're putting quotes around this because we're paraphrasing like a motherfucker. But yeah. Ultra processed food is more shelf stable, so it can be sold at a discount compared to whole foods, which are prone to spoiling. And are thus more expensive to cover the loss. It just doesn't make any sense. Weird. Just think about it for 2 seconds. It actually does make a lot of sense. Fucking Irish.
Then we're talking about nutritional quality about these oils. Like basically all this protein.
Jesus Christ. Are we still on seed oils? This is still all seed oils. We've been talking about PUFAs for 3 minutes. I wonder if we're gonna. All right, I think we're finally changing to a new section of seed oils. Still seed oils. Who gives a fuck about seed oils? Like what? Like I don't. Like this is just 3.5 minutes about why vegetable oil is bad. Like that's okay.
Process and strips the seed oils from any of the vitamins and minerals that and antioxidants that it did have, which
Still on fucking seed oils. Nutritional quality. Processing strips seed oil of all minerals and vitamins. Okay, so do seed oils even contain these things? Seed oils, vitamins, minerals. All right, I'm gonna try this. Chemical composition and health promoting benefits of stuff. Going to vitamin. Um, fuck. I probably should probably know the vitamins are. Vitamin E activity. Squalene. Okay, so carotenoids are known as vitamin A precursor and have vitamin A activity. Tocols, which have vitamin E activity. Um, Antioxidant activity. Yeah, that's the real meme. When you look into any of this, like, if you want to isolate a very specific ingredient of like vegetables and call it evil because it, will kill you, and because you can find a couple of studies that show that that on its own is dangerous. When we're actually looking at, a diet or like how people actually consume these, uh, there's a lot of like these don't exist in a vacuum, right? Like unless you're literally taking like a supplement, there are other ingredients here, and overall it might be a net benefit to consuming some of this stuff. Um, Cholesterol, peroxisomes, anti-inflammatory. Ooh, anti-cancer. You know what? We're gonna throw this up top too. I don't know if it's probably a difference between vegetable oil and seed oils in general. But I don't give a fuck. We don't cook here. We don't like food. Food is gay. Vitamin E. Okay, whatever. It's oil. Where the fuck are you looking for vitamins and oil? Um, yeah, and I guess I don't understand what the fuck he means by like when they process the seed oils. I don't know. Like, again, we're creating a category of like seed oils bad when ultra processed. Okay, sure. Then don't cook with or eat super processed seed oils. Um, I don't know. These are all very solvable problems, which is interesting. And part of the processing is write this one down. Part of the processing is hydrogenation, which converts unsaturated acid or unsaturated fatty acids into saturated fatty acids, which you seem to not have a problem with. So yeah, I mean, if you get hydrogenated vegetable oil, then all of the stuff becomes moot, or all of the PUFA stuff becomes moot. I don't know if that nukes all of the vitamins, but all right, listen. Almost at 4 minutes. Jesus fuck. But yeah, it's fucking oil. It's butter. I mean, okay, so I guess yeah, butter has some minerals in it, right? Let's look at seed oils minerals. Um, oil seeds. Where the fuck? Mineral. Is is fucking oil seed oil the same thing? Oil seed versus seed oil. Fucking retarded. Both related to the production of vegetable oils, but they have different uses and characteristics. Those are seed stick. Okay, listen, we don't trust fucking AI here, but this says stuff. Um, okay, so seeds are grown to produce oil and are used for many purposes. Vegetable oils that come from the seeds of plants. Okay, so maybe this is what he means by the byproduct thing. Is like, oh, we grew all these vegetables, we de-seeded them, and then we turn those seeds into products. Um, yeah, okay. So I think oil seeds are just seeds grown for oil specifically. I mean, whatever. It fucking literally said that. Um, uh, we have a better source. Oh, look at this peer-reviewed source. My Serenity Kids. Where to buy? Curious. They're selling stuff. Interesting. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We're gonna. Highly processed oil. Why is it just bad? Uh, Mission. Okay, so this is literally all of the things that he's saying. Just interesting. I really, I appreciate, despite organizations like the American Heart Association touting vegetable oils are as better for you, there's quite a bit of research that suggests they're just the opposite, contributing to chronic inflammation and disease. Here's why. And then they cite literally nothing, just statements. Okay, whatever. This stuff is AIDS. All right. Well, look, the American Heart Association. Wonder what they have to say about this. I mean, he's Irish, so I guess we don't really shouldn't shouldn't expect him to trust the American Heart Association. Um, Alright, do you cast the blame on seed oils and these foods? History. Okay. Whatever, dude. This like super processed thing. It's driving me insane. Uh, whatever. Don't have any good sources for seed oils having minerals, but seems they contain some. But unless I want to quote a textbook with that, we can. Okay, whatever. Listen, we're gonna move on. We're gonna probably gonna loop on this stuff for a while, so we can have a coherent response to all this stuff. Let's just get all the fucking points down and some very basic shit in there and move on.
Which all you're getting basically is just this polyunsaturated fat, which, like we said, it oxidates more, has more free radicals. It can bind things like protein, stuff like that as well, which cause the cancer as well.
Causes the cancer.
And you have the chemical residues. Like some of the stuff this is being coated with is hexane, heavy metals, and even benzene, which is known to be.
Oh. Heavy metals. What? Okay, whatever. We already went through this. Yes, this is how they extract the oil. They use whatever. They use solvents to extract the oils. Said butane earlier. I think he's just correcting himself now.
Be especially carcinogenic as well. Then we have dietary imbalance. So there's overconsumption. So when if you overconsume on this, you're getting a huge omega-6 spike compared to your omega-3. Remember, omega-3 is the good omega that you want. The omega-6 is the bad that you want. Which
Omega-6 bad. Omega-3 good. Yeah, I mean that's obviously just not true, I guess. And he's just repeating himself. Okay, cool. Hopefully this will go faster as we move on.
Again, it affects, like we just mentioned there. And then, like I said, it's just a misleading health claim to say that these are heart healthy, but it's just flawed research. It's just like paid off. Like the same doctors that were telling you, oh yeah.
Okay. It's just flawed research. Okay, I don't even know how to put this down here. Yeah, it's just flawed research. You've literally brought up zero research. You've looked at zero studies. You have no fucking bibliography down here. Like you're probably reading an AI summary of something. Just typed into ChatGPT like why seed oil is bad, and given a list of talking points. Wonderful.
Smoking is good for you are the same doctors that are telling you that these seed oils are heart healthy.
Did the American Heart Association ever say that smoking was good for you? Because I feel like when you're talking about that, I mean, the scientists weren't paid off. Like they were just, yeah, whatever. Yeah, this anti-intellectual pseudoscience nonsense is annoying. Hang on. All right. We should. I should write down all the claims. Write down all the claims.
The bad as well. Then we have dietary imbalance. So there's overconsumption. So when if you overconsume on this, you're getting a huge.
Okay. So, overconsumption. Bad. Omega-3 good. Again.
Omega-6 spike compared to your omega-3. Remember, omega-3 is the good omega that you want. Omega-6 is the bad that you want, which again it affects, like we just mentioned there. And then, like I said, it's just a misleading health claim to say that these are heart healthy, but it's just flawed research. It's just like paid off, like the same.
What? Okay. It's a misleading claim to say these are heart healthy because it's just flawed research. Okay. Heart healthy. Okay. Bro, I just need to stop looking at this fucking bit rate, I guess. I don't know, whatever. It's just flawed research. You have shown zero research. Okay, need to think about this. Shown zero research. Therefore, you cannot make claims on if it's flawed.
Same doctors that were telling you,
And it's paid off. You have not demonstrated that claim, so you cannot use it to claim the research is flawed. Because again, you haven't shown any of these studies. You haven't looked into who's done these studies. So like, how do you know they're being paid off?
oh yeah, smoking is good for you, are the same doctors that are telling you that these seed oils are heart healthy.
When did doctors? Okay. We're gonna ignore the part where he's, taking the position that smoking doesn't cause cancer. On his previous appearances elsewhere. The same doctors that told you smoking is good for you are telling you that these seed oils are healthy. Okay, this is obviously self-evidently preposterous. I don't think any doctor ever said, "Alright, this is nitpicky." No studies ever claimed that smoking is good for you. Only that it was neutral. What? Why did the when was the smoking and lung cancer link demonstrated? Study. Okay, so 1939, something was published. Lancet. Oh, okay, yeah, Lancet's fine. Okay. So here's two studies from the 1950s. Uh, Okay, so in 1950, we have this guy published, and then in 1950, fuck, I'm goofed, and okay, so those are the first two studies of when it's demonstrated, or well, whatever, there was a link established between smoking and lung cancer. Smoking good for you study. Oh, isn't that curious? Isn't that interesting? Oh, they're in New Hampshire. Whatever. It was published at Oxford. Um, yeah. I don't know. Oh, okay. This is not true. I was wrong. Um, yeah, whatever. Throw the whole thing in there, I guess. How do we even? Link. Um, yeah, I guess that kind of proves this point. But yeah, I don't know. Who are the, or, yeah, whatever. Listen. Or yeah, actually, I guess whatever. These two studies were published by different people. So, question mark. There we go. Whatever. It's just it's a ludicrous, whatever. Yeah, this is just to undermine the institution of science, right? Just to sow disbelief and like it's that Always Sunny episode. Science is wrong sometimes. Uh, you know, because science is an iterative process, which means it grows, reaffirms or disproves itself, and that's just part of the process. The fuck keeps beeping? Anyway, besides my schizophrenia, yeah, science is an iterative process. It's part of the scientific method. Is uh, nothing's really ever proven right in science. It's proven not wrong. On like a macro scale. It's also colored by my epistemological anti-realism, but hey, fuck you. Okay. How many minutes in are we? Whatever. The studies are flawed, even though he's citing all of the studies. They're also flawed and all paid for. But also they prove his point. Yeah, makes sense.
Then we have soy. My God, soy is.
Oh my god, we're out of seed oils. Okay. Jesus fuck. Okay. So I'm gonna add to the high heat. Alright. Okay. Our seed oil is always exposed to high heat during extraction. It doesn't really matter. Because the high heat makes the free radicals, which just stay there. I don't know. Free radicals are dangerous because they're like very reactive. So the fact that they're just they get made and then preserved after a bunch of heat goes into them, and then they're mixed with chemicals, and they don't react with any of those. They wait until they get into your body to actually do anything. Yeah, it's just silly. Uh, yeah. Okay, so that doesn't actually matter. I'm gonna take that off. I don't even need to know that. I'm going to so the heavy processing is heating and extraction with a non-polar solvent. What the fuck is he comparing it to? Yeah, actually. Jesus, why did it take me so long to come up with that? Okay. It's talking about all this heavy processing. It's talking about, okay, so are we going to find this? Are we looping back? Whatever. When he talks about the heavy processing, like what, how are you stripping all the nutritional value out of it? Like unless you're talking about the seeds themselves being more, nutritionally valuable. What? I don't even. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you're gonna compare seed oils to like unextracted seeds, um, I don't know. Yeah, so um, uh, you also need to put in the cooking, the high heat somewhere. Where's or no, we have smoke point in here somewhere, right? Okay, right there. Um, yeah, I guess he's like conflating smoke point and referring to the extraction process. Whatever. No, needs to go original qualities. What the fuck is he comparing it to? What is unprocessed seed oil? Seeds. Okay. Oh, why? Why do we do this? Why do we decide to do this? Okay. All right. Well, one more. One more. Stub my toe. Fuck. Um. Okay. We're going to. Let me see. Um. What is the fucking contaminated with benzene? One of the most cancerous things. This is funny, because like on what scale are you measuring this? uh, how cancerous is it on a scale from 1 to 14? Ta-da. Um, that's a question. So yeah, I mean, whatever. Benzene is carcinogenic, for sure. But is it like the most? Uh, mutagenic scale. There. Uh, Measurement scale. Yeah. I feel like I should know this. I mean, I know like rads and stuff, can measure like beams of energy, which are likely to cause cancer. But like, yeah, I guess I don't know what the, I'm just call it mutagenicity. How would you rank its mutagenicity? It's a nice word. I like that. Mutagenicity. Fuck, dude. I have to debate like an actual science person eventually, and I was hoping to mine this for arguments. He hasn't made any very good ones yet. I don't know. The omega-3 sex ratio might be a good one. Might be salvageable. Fuck. No. All right. Fuck. Where's the? All right. So we made it 4 minutes, 40 seconds. God, we're gonna have to. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it there. Because this is a lot obnoxious. Whatever. This needs to be organized way better. Whatever. We have a springboard studies to go through of whatever varying quality and yeah, just a lot of whatever, doing a lot of cherry pick data. I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask him how he evaluates studies to decide whether or not if they're valid or not, because the same doctors that told you that smoking is good for you is telling you that seed oils are good for you. So is it just if they say seed oils are bad, is that the only criteria, or did you? Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's just broadly referencing the flawed studies, but he's not explaining about why they're flawed. I mean, he's not even bringing any of them up. He's not showing, it's just like, oh, like the studies that I have are good and they show that seed oils are bad. And all of the studies that disagree are flawed and are paid off by big broccoli, I guess. I don't know. Or big soy, big cottonseed. I don't know. It's an interesting, I don't know, an interesting position that I can't quite nail down. I don't want to, accuse anyone of confirmation bias, but I have to rule out a lot of other stuff first before I can make that claim validly. Which, I mean, whatever. You've already seen the amount of just incorrect takes. Not that it's wrong to be incorrect sometimes, yeah, I mean, being wrong is step one into being more right. which is cool. So being wrong should never be something you're afraid of. Because yeah, it's an opportunity to learn, which is good. I mean, I don't know if you're into seeking truth and gaining knowledge. It's there's nothing wrong with being wrong. But anyway, I will return to this probably tomorrow, hopefully. Or never. Who knows? This is obnoxious. We are less than 5 minutes in, and we have 80 lines of notes of whatever. Anyway, doing our part against anti-intellectualism. We'll get better at this, finding stuff, discerning whether or not it's good, and like proves our point, and how to look for counter evidence too. But yeah, day one. I'll see you tomorrow.